We're Team Rubicon. We're a veteran-founded and run organization that does disaster response and humanitarian crises. We use volunteers. Right now we have roughly 170,000 volunteers across the country. And New England here, the 6 states of New England, which I oversee, have about 8,000 volunteers. We do all types of natural disasters, tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, and the last couple of years have been pretty busy for us, especially up here in New England. And we're looking this year with the hurricane season and the one they're predicting, it sounds like it's going to be a very active season for us starting June 1st, going on till November, December, so we'll be very active.
Sounds busy.
A little bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Carl Thomas. I'm a Vietnam vet, retired Windsor police officer right here in Windsor, Connecticut. And I've been handing these books out. These are real, true stories of veterans from all over the country. Army, Navy, Marine, Air Force, and even Coast Guard. They're very motivational stories. They're guys that have come out of wartime with severe PTSD, myself included. My story is in here as well, chapter 8. And my brother as well. We're both Vietnam vets, like I said before. And his is in chapter 7, along with 25 other stories from veterans from all over the country. And they're very emotionally, they're spiritually uplifting stories that I'm sure will help anybody who takes the time to read the story. And so they're free, and I've been handing them out to veterans all over New England. I've gone to veteran hospitals. I've gone to VFWs, American Legions. I've gone to VA homeless shelters. Wherever I'm let to go, I go. It doesn't matter the distance, because I really believe in the stories that are in this book that would help anybody come out of their situation into a better situation, a better life. So thank you for giving me the time to explain my book.
Yeah. No, hey, come on down for a free guitar lesson. Windsor resident, peacetime vet. God bless the poor kids that went through Afghanistan and Iraq and all that. So come on down for a free guitar lesson. It's a great way to see if this might be for you before you go spend just crazy money, because what doesn't cost too much these days? And if I get to do any selfish plugs, thank you, Bean Coffee, for the best coffee in town. And other than that, hey.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm Janet Ellsworth, and I am the regent of the Abigail Wolcott Ellsworth chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. We're also associated with the Oliver Ellsworth Homestead up on Palisado Avenue. So we're here to support the veterans. The DAR is very supportive of veterans and military. We love being here, and we hope that everyone will come to the homestead, and that if you have a patriot, come and join the DAR.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Sure. I'm here with Mount Sinai Rehabilitation Hospital, and we are inpatient, outpatient, and community-based rehab services, treatments, and programs. I'm Paige, recreation therapist, and this is...
I'm Greg Van Houten. So I've been volunteering for this will be my 4th year for some of the different programs, the Golfers in Motion programs and the rowing program and the cycling. I've done all of them in support of this fantastic program. I'm a veteran, so some of them are specifically for veterans, like the rowing on Saturdays, and the other events are for disabled people, who gives them a chance to get out and enjoy something they might not normally have the chance to do, like learning how to golf. We've had people golfing out of carts because that's all they can do, but it's a great day outside and with other people they get to know other people. It's a really nice social event, and they learn something on top of it. And for the rowing on Saturdays and Wednesdays, we take people out in 2- and 4-man shells, and we have a group of kayaks that goes out. There's a skiff, a motorboat with the coaches on it to keep an eye on everyone. We also have volunteers rowing with the people to keep a close eye on everything going on. And it's just a great day out on the water for the rowing. And the cycling are kind of more unique events when they can be done, because it takes a lot of coordination from Paige to get that event to turn off. But like the one that's coming up next month is a day up in the mountains cycling on tricycles that are adapted specific for people's needs. Some people hand pedal, and they're all motorized, so if you can kind of get yourself a little bit of trouble or get tired, kick in the motor and you're okay. It's just a great day cycling. It's just a really nice, it's really nice.
The American Legion is based on 4 pillars. One is veterans helping veterans, one is Americanism, one is youth and children, and one is national security. We work on these 4 pillars to help other veterans and also to get out there in the community to help children get things that they need. There's a ton of posts throughout the country and throughout the world.
I've been part of the veteran community here for about 32 years, and I've been a member of the American Legion. And one of the things we're trying to do, and we're constantly doing, is reconnecting with our veterans, their family, and our active duty families as well. The big veterans truck out front kind of says it all. Camaraderie, connection, and community. That's what binds us together. We're here to recognize not only our veterans and active duty, but also the families and the people who support them. I'd like to introduce our new mayor. She's really setting new standards for our community, as well as connecting our community.
Good afternoon. So, how important it is for us to recognize and celebrate our heroes and sheroes. We know that freedom is never free. It's important to recognize, to celebrate, to acknowledge all of our active individuals that are in service and those that have served and those that have also passed on. Because as I said when I started out, freedom is not free. And we cannot stand by and not recognize and not celebrate all of our military service men and women if we don't take time to acknowledge them and their families. And I'm going to say that last part again, and their families. All of the family members in the audience, can you just wave your hand? Yeah, can we give them a round of applause? As our mayor, as Steve shared, I want to ensure that we are always connecting, always recognizing, always lifting up what each and every one contributes to our community. So all of you that are here today, you contributed to this community by your service. So it's only right that we pause for a moment and say thank you, and to let you know how much we appreciate what you've done and for those that are continuing to serve. I look forward to hearing from our guest speaker from so far away, from across the river. But I do want to close by saying that veterans know better than anyone else the price of freedom, for they have suffered the scars of war. We can offer them no better tribute than to protect what they have won for us. And those are words from our past president, Ronald Reagan. Please know that the town of Windsor, we will continue to stand with those of you who have served, those who are actively serving, your families, wrapping around you, letting you know that we are standing with you, we're praying for you, and thank you for serving, because the price of freedom, we know that is never free. Thank you and have a great day.
So thank you for the honor of being able to stand here in front of you today. Recently, a couple months ago, I attended the most fabulous program here at LP Wilson, run by the Windsor veterans and Steve Porcaro, where people told their stories. It was fabulous, and it's so important because our young people don't know what's happened in the past. You know, having to go to war, having to defend our country, and the sacrifices that our military makes. I grew up like most of us here, where my brother went to Vietnam. He was 17 years old when he went from 68 to 70. You know, and how that affected him the rest of his life. And my father, my uncle, so we all came from military families. And kudos to the Porcaros, by the way, giving us 3. So I think that the more that we get together and do events like this, where we can get more public coming and to understand just what veterans go through. At the Capitol next to my office is Anthony Nolan. He's chair of veterans, I'm chair of aging, and those two intersect a lot. He's now working, so if you have voice or know how to go in and support a bill, is a bill that would relieve state taxes for veterans. You deserve it. I mean, you've given your lives, so again.
We're fortunate to have Thomas Moore, our department commander for the state of Connecticut, to talk about something that's near and dear to many of us when we talk about veterans and supporting them after they leave the service. Thomas?
So thank you, Steve. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Windsor. I appreciate having this little bit of time. Steve brought up my topic today, and that's the American Legion's Be the One mission. And this was developed because of the sudden recognition several years ago of veteran suicides. And this program, we talk about veterans, but it actually encompasses everybody. The veterans have a higher suicide rate, but everybody, civilian or military or veteran, is affected by this. This also includes female veterans, and at sometimes it's tougher for these females that come out of the service. They have different issues to deal with that men don't have. So the American Legion and the Veterans Administration have partnered with a company called Psych Armor to develop a 30-minute online training course that introduces you to recognizing and helping someone who is at risk of suicide. It's 30 minutes, it's an 18-minute video, and then there's several questions to just follow up to see what you've gotten from that. It is not comprehensive. You are not going to learn how to diagnose somebody that's suddenly at risk or medium risk or low risk. It's not going to suddenly make you a counselor where you're going to save somebody's life by giving them advice. It's just a means of identifying someone who may be at risk. So through studies that this company has conducted and gathered information about, I learned 2 things from this training. And the first one was, once someone decides to kill themselves, they're going to do it, and they have a means of whatever they're going to do. They have one means. They don't have multiple options. They know they're going to do it, and they're going to do it this way. The second more important thing that I learned was, they will do that within an hour. They will have made that attempt within an hour. So the Be the One mission is basically making each one of us a listener. Our national commander just came to Connecticut a couple weeks ago, and he made a great point. God gave us 2 of these and 1 of these for a reason. Listen. We're not qualified to give advice, but that doesn't matter. When you're talking about listening to somebody who is at risk, by extending that time outside of an hour, however long it may be, that saves a life. By taking them away from whatever means they had of committing suicide, you've extended that, and now that has taken away the immediate risk of them taking their own lives. So just by listening, you may save somebody's life and never know. But just listen. So there's 3 parts to the Be the One program. The first is to let that person, and particularly veterans, and you all know what I mean when I say we have to destigmatize the idea of asking for help. There are very few veterans in this room that, growing up in the military, when we got out of the service, or whether you continue to serve, would willingly look for help for mental health or another problem. That's just not in our DNA. We have to let them know, yes, it is okay to ask for help. It is okay. The second thing is to get peer-to-peer help, peer-to-peer counseling. So I've seen in my travels over the last couple of years, more and more young people getting out of the service, using their GI benefits to go back to school to get whatever degree in counseling or psychotherapy, whatever it may be, and getting back in the fight to help their fellow veterans. That's key, because they understand what that veteran has been through. They understand what he or she is dealing with. And the third thing is to actually get them that support, whether it's inpatient services, outpatient services, the vet center, an American Legion post. Somebody walks into the post and looks lost. Sit down and have a coffee. What do you want to talk about? It's as simple as that. So if you know of somebody that may be at risk, and again, this is for anybody, family member, coworker, a fellow veteran, a neighbor, if you think they're at risk and it's something that you're not quite ready to deal with, everybody has one of these. Dial 988. If it's a veteran, press 1. If it's a veteran, a VA counselor will get on that telephone and talk to that person as long as it takes to take them outside of that narrow window. But the good thing about it is they follow that up. They will contact that person to make sure that whatever help they need, they will receive. It's not a phone call, good to talk to you, hang up, and that's it. That's not how that works. And I've been to the training for that and talked to these counselors. It is effective. So I thank you all very much for being here, for listening to me, and for inviting me to speak. Thank you.
All right, that's very helpful information, and it is something near and dear to us as we're out there helping our veterans and many people in the community. So, one good Thomas deserves another, right? We're fortunate today to have our guest speaker. As I mentioned, Thomas Weidley. He's a retired Major General of the USMC, right? He spent many years with a distinguished career in the Marine Corps, all around the world, supporting and protecting us. We're fortunate to have him come and share his experience, his wisdom, but more importantly, his insight. He's a Chief Executive Officer with a company called Capewell in South Windsor, Connecticut, which, as I just found out, they're the longest serving military contractor now in the state of Connecticut. Very interesting, right? Windsor is the oldest town. We have a long tradition of service and commitment, and I'm very pleased and honored to introduce Thomas Weidley. Thank you, Thomas.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. How are we doing today?
Good.
All right, all right. I just want to let you know up front that when Jim and Steve asked me to come speak today, I was super excited to be able to do that, and I really appreciate the opportunity. Then as we started conducting follow-up coordination, Steve said, hey, Wheels, that's kind of my military call sign. I was an aviator in the Marine Corps. He goes, hey, Wheels, there's only 2 rules you have to follow if you're going to come talk to our veterans. And I said, oh, I didn't know it came with constraints. So he said, first off, being that you're a Marine, there's no crayons allowed on stage. So I said, okay, I'll make sure that I don't bring crayons. And the second thing is, he said, you're not allowed to bring a ruler to read your script. And so I said, okay, I won't bring a ruler. So I'm going to try to wrestle my way through my remarks today without my ruler. So thanks, Steve.
When I met the general coming out front, he ate all the crayons before he walked.
Thank goodness Sergeant Major was here. He shared it with me.
Red's the best.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed veterans, military members, and fellow patriots. I first want to thank the Veterans Council, the town of Windsor, and all the great leaders that preceded me up on the stage today for the opportunity to speak. It's both an honor and a privilege to stand before you, surrounded by the very embodiment of sacrifice, dedication, and unwavering commitment our military veterans and their families who have served our great nation. As we gather here, let us reflect on the essence of patriotism, the indomitable spirit, and the unbreakable bonds that tie us together under the banner of the United States of America. Our journey began with the call to service, the summons that echoes through the corridors of history. When you raised your hand, you answered that call, leaving behind the familiar and stepping into the uncertain. Your commitment to defend our Constitution, uphold our values, and safeguard our freedom is a testament to your unwavering grit and your selfless pledge to something bigger than oneself. The call to service is not merely a career choice. It is a sacred pact with the nation. It whispers through the ages, from the Revolutionary War to the deserts of Iraq, from the jungles of Vietnam to the mountains of Afghanistan. It beckons the brave, the selfless, and the resolute. And you, my fellow veterans, heard the call and responded with countless sacrifices and courage. The American flag, the red, white, and blue, waves proudly in the winds of liberty. It is more than a piece of cloth. It embodies the hopes, dreams, and sacrifices of generations. As veterans, you have carried this flag into battle, watched it flutter over distant lands, and felt its weight on your shoulders. Each fold, each star, whispers stories of heroism and valor. Remember the moment when you first saw the flag on foreign soil, the colors vibrant against a backdrop of uncertainty. It wasn't just a symbol, it was a lifeline connecting you to home. In the darkest hours, that flag reminded you why you fought, the promise of a better world or a better way of life, the legacy of those who came before, and the duty to those who would follow. In the crucible of combat, you faced fear, chaos, and uncertainty. The deafening roar of artillery, the camaraderie of foxholes, and the ache of separation from loved ones. We honor your resilience. You stood shoulder to shoulder, bound by a shared purpose, and emerged forged like steel. Your combat experiences etched indelible marks on your souls, and yet you press forward, unwavering and unfailing. The battlefield is where courage meets chaos, where valor is tested, where bonds are cemented, and where the sacrifices become tangible. You carried wounded comrades, you held steady under fire, and you witnessed both the fragility and the strength of humanity. And when the dust settled, you returned home, forever changed, but with resolve unshaken. Behind every veteran stands a family, a silent force that shoulders burdens, prays for safe returns, and weaves the fabric of resilience. Spouses, children, parents, they serve too. They endure sleepless nights, empty chairs at dinner tables, and the ache of absence. Their sacrifices are the unsung verses of our national anthem. Think of the spouses who held down the fort, managed households, raising children, and maintaining hope during deployment. Consider the parents who watched their sons and daughters deploy, their hearts torn between pride and worry. And honor the children who grew up with missing pieces, a father or mother absent from birthdays, graduations, and ordinary everyday life moments. Military families exemplify resilience. They adapt to frequent moves, they find community in new bases, and they hold steadfast during deployments. Their unwavering support sustains our heroes. As we honor you, veterans, we also salute your families, the bedrock of our military strength. Remember the welcome home hugs, the tearful reunions, the shared relief of being together again. Military families understand the sacrifices in ways few others can. They celebrate small victories, a missed anniversary compensated by an extra long hug, and weather the storms of uncertainty. Their love is a force that binds us all, and it transcends ranks and ribbons. You pledge support to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That oath welds you to a legacy that stands the test of time. It echoes in the hallowed halls of Arlington Cemetery, where rows of white headstones stand as silent sentinels. Each marker represents a life given in service, a testament to duty fulfilled and honor upheld. In the hearts of Gold Star families, your oath reverberates, an unbreakable bond forged through grief and pride. They remember the knock on the door, the folded flag, and the ache that truly never subsides. Yet they also hold on to the knowledge that their loved ones stood for something greater, a cause that outlasts mortal existence. And in the eyes of the next generation, those children whose fingers roll over the names etched on war memorials, the weight of your promise is felt. They inherit a nation shaped by sacrifice, a quilt woven of patches of courage and resilience. Your commitment ensures that the flames of liberty never wavers, even when storms rage and winds shift. Consider the weight of that oath you took, the weight of history, of duty, of honor. It's not a mere formality. It's a sacred promise, an unwavering contract between you and generations ahead. When you raised your right hand and spoke those words, you became part of a living legacy. So carry it forward, my fellow veterans. Let your actions be the ink that writes the next chapter, a chapter of honor, of service, and of a nation united. Returning from the battlefield, you carried not only physical scars, but memories of the weight of memories. Yet within those memories lies resilience. Seek healing. Share your stories, for they are the bridge that connects generations. Find solace and camaraderie in the shared understanding that only those who have walked the path of service truly comprehend. Remember the quiet moments, the late nights when memories resurface, the faces of comrades etched in your mind, and the haunting echoes of distant battles. Healing is not linear. It's a mosaic of tears, of laughter, and of acceptance. Have the courage to ask for help. Lean on your brothers and sisters, and honor the fallen by living fully. You are the torchbearers of valor, entrusted with a legacy that stretches back to Bunker Hill and forward to distant shores. The weight of that torch is both honor and burden. It flickers in the wind, fueled by the sacrifices of those who came before, countless warriors from every corner of our great country. As you pass the torch to the next generation, remember that you carry the hopes of the fallen, the dreams of the living, and the aspirations of a nation. Your stories are the stitches that bind the fabric of freedom. In closing, let us remember that patriotism is not a fleeting sentiment. It is a lifelong commitment. As veterans and military members, you embody honor, duty, and sacrifice. May your stories and your continued support of our community inspire us to embrace change with resilience, to navigate uncertainty with courage, and to honor the flag that unites us all. Thank you for your service and for all of you have done for this great country. May the winds of change carry us forward, guided by the unwavering light of liberty. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.